Groups of the believers وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Look, if we study this in great detail, many of us average Muslims, we begin to slightly wake up. If we could just read the Quran and ponder over the Quran and understand the language of the Quran. The Quran mentions وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. If two groups amongst the believers fight one another. In normal language, in the normal world for many of us, one group is a believer and the other group is what? It's disbelievers. The Quran is here saying that if two groups from amongst the believers, they fight amongst themselves. So the Quran is saying that both of them are what? Are believers. There may be some misunderstanding or something that happened between the two, but the Quran is giving a generic terminology that the believers, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Muslims towards one another are brethren. That's what we're trying to highlight. Our wala wal bara. Our association is towards whom? Is towards the Muslims. Thus you find that many ulama have laid out this principle that the worst Muslim is better than the best kafir. Okay, some of us have got this slide. The whole theme is about muddling our minds up at the moment. The worst Muslim is better than the best kafir. But some of us Muslims can't seem to understand. Some of us Muslims are even studying aqa'id or reading aqidah, reading it day and night. We still can't seem to conclude. Some of us Muslims, we think that the Muslim is the enemy. That's what some of us Muslims are concluding. Yes, there may be some small segments of truth inside that, as we mentioned, people of innovation, etc. But some of us are going way beyond the limits and are painting that every single Muslim is an enemy towards another Muslim, which is dangerous.
وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Don't think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unaware of what the oppressors are doing. إِنَّمَا يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ لِيَوْمٍ تَشْخَصُ فِيهِ الْأَبْصَارِ. He will give them respite in the day whereby you find that their eyes will stare in horror, when they have to return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And likewise inside the same surah that you find the concept of retribution. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ ذُو انْتِقَامٍ. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is full of retribution. In another surah we find أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِعَزِيزٍ ذِي انْتِقَامٍ. Is not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the almighty possessor of retribution? And Muslims and non-Muslims alike have forgotten this focus and failed to understand. Probably one of the most powerful and strongest verses that you find inside the Quran, talking about the dominionship and the kingdom. Who does it belong to? قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِي الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. You sovereign rulers, whether it be Muslims or non-Muslims, that you claim dignity and honor for yourselves. This respect that's been bestowed down upon you, that you're supposed to be protecting certain individuals. And we find quite clearly and quite openly, and it will be highlighted on many occasions, let's not beat about the bush, that those hundreds that have been massacred in Palestine at the moment, the only thing that the Muslim Ummah can do once again is to go into a cabinet meeting and sit with their cups of qahwa and their tamar and their dates and click it together and think, what should we do? Stand up and be courageous and do what other governments are doing. Break your ties with such individuals. When President Mugabe is known as a tyrannical ruler, then this country breaks all ties. The BBC correspondence is not allowed inside Zimbabwe, has to report from South Africa. But when it comes to Muslims, we have to think about the situation. We have to think about what we have to do. Break off your ties with individuals who kill innocent individuals. Quite simple it is. We're not asking you to pick up arms or to fight individuals or create bloodshed. Have enough courage within you that you claim to be a leader of a country, that dignity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, bestowed that upon you. You will be asked upon the day of judgment. لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارِ. To whom does the dominionship and the kingdomship belong on this day? It belongs only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let that message go out clear to those individuals who want to govern the Muslims and to highlight that we protect the sanctity of the Muslim. You don't protect the sanctity of no Muslim. The only individuals that you protect are the non-Muslims. You bend over backwards to protect them, and you'll never ever bend over backwards to protect the honor and dignity of the Muslims that are being slaughtered all around you. And thus you find اليوم تجزى كل نفس بما كسبت لا ظلم اليوم إن الله سريع الحساب. On that day, you'll find out what the true and the reality will be. Every single soul will bring forth out what it has earned by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا ظلم اليوم. There will be no oppression on that day. being oppressed inside this world, then hold strong to your faith. You will not be oppressed inside the earth.
Her hands were ripped apart. This is the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. Her hands became harsh, became coarse, became rough, because she would knead the dough, wash the clothing, take care of the home. So she said one day to Ali, go and speak to the Prophet ﷺ. We've just received the booty, some servants have come, go and ask him to send a servant into our house to help us inside the house. Tasawwaru hada, think about this, daughter of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Booty's just arrived. You know what we say to our daughters, don't we? Leave him and just come home, we'll take care of you. Isn't it? That's what we teach our daughters. We were taught in our lives, don't ever return to your home unless there's a serious problem. A woman never leaves her home for the excuses that are presented today inside our society. Ali comes and he expresses his concern. The Prophet Muhammad listens to him. In the evening, he comes to visit both of them. He comes and he sits so close to them. They feel the body heat of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. They want to sit up. Out of respect, he tells them to stay there. He says, don't think I am unaware of what you requested. He could have given it to them, as many servants as they wanted. He could have presented all of the companions to stand there and take care of his household. He said to them, it's better for you every night to say Subhanallah 33 times, Alhamdulillah 33 times, Allahu Akbar 34 times. Yakfikum. That's enough. You don't need these elements of the dunya. And he says, I never gave that up in my life. Never. When I fought, when I struggled, turmoils, calamities, difficulties, I went to sleep saying Subhanallah 33 times, Alhamdulillah 33 times, Allahu Akbar 34 times. You don't need antidepressant tablets to go to sleep. You don't need anything to go to sleep. الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Indeed, the dhikr of Allah, do hearts find tranquility and find peace. That's what he told his beloved ones. Find that peace in your remembrance towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He could have offered them the whole of the dunya, whatever they wanted, as a fatherly love. But he taught them that lesson that they would never ever forget. And that lesson goes to all of us as Muslims, that we begin to look at everything around us and fail to understand the best thing that we possess inside our lives is right here inside our hearts. Al-Imanu billahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah alladhi hadana li hadha wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. The greatest possession that we all possess is Al-Islam inside our hearts. Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to this, to Al-Islam. If it had guided us, we would have been amongst the straight individuals. That's what he taught his companions. That's what he placed inside
which he
these
hopes
individuals.
for from the delight and the reward of the hereafter. Things have been taken away from the dunya. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. Study the Arabic language, deep Arabic language. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّن شَيْءٍ مِّن شَيْءٍ بَعْض, some. Not a total loss of everything that you own. And look at the state of many of us. Many of us have crumbled, broken down. Ask those individuals what real affliction, trials and tribulations are. Ask those individuals, whether it be the land of Palestine at the moment, whether it be Kashmir, whether it be Afghanistan, whether it be Shishan, whether it be Al-Iraq, whatever it be. Ask those individuals of what is real trial and tribulation. Ask them what they go through on a daily basis. But somehow, quite strange it is, they see a tunnel and they see light at the end. And we have all the light around us, we don't seem to visualize that light. صُمٌّ بُكْمٌ عُمْيٌ فَهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ فَهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. Some of us, unfortunately, are deaf, dumb and blind, We don't have the mind to understand. We don't have the capability to return back to what we want to do. And thus it becomes high time that we begin to visualize and begin to focus about everything that takes place around us. That we should have enough courage and belief inside the akhirah is begin to highlight of the suffering and the plight of the Muslims at the moment. You're not going to be tarnished as a radical or a person who's a terrorist, is what many of you may fear, because you are already classified as an individual. They can speak out about their rights, about what concerns them, but a Muslim cannot speak out for his rights. For the sake of the akhirah, that final return, when every single one of us will be asked about everything that we possess and everything that we own and everything that we visualize, around us at the moment. ماذا فعلتم? What did you do? What did you do? And quite simply it is not like those individuals going outside the embassies and burning effigies and burning flags, because most of them probably didn't even wake up for Salatul Fajr. They probably didn't even wake up. We're not full of Hamas in that way, because that's what Hamas means. Exuberance and commitment and focus and devotion is the meaning of Hamas, of those who didn't know. Every single Muslim, obviously I'm going to be quoting these words, is a member of Hamas. Linguistically. And then don't let no individual twist those words and try to promote that we're trying to promote such organizations. You find even beyond that, Alawiyun at the moment, the land of Sham, Bilad al-Sham, this regime at the moment, they are Alawiyun. They worship Ali. That's their creed. They worship him. This facade that they're creating at the moment, because they don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When a person doesn't believe in the last day, a day of reckoning, doesn't believe in accountability, then a person begins to oppress, spill blood, harm people, torture people, rape the women, kill the children. They are fara'ina. They are the modern day Fir'auns of the world at the moment. That's what they are, these individuals. And we just begin to turn a blind eye. There's many things that have taken place. How quickly was the world, or how quick was the world to intervene inside Iraq, Afghanistan? How quick they are to intervene in Libya, how quick they are to intervene. But come Syria, Bilad al-Sham, we're still discussing and thinking what to do. Why? Libya is just not too far away. Why did you intervene all of a sudden? How do you muster, move your troops quickly, go into that country and take out this dictator and cleanse the country? Because why? There's materialistic benefits. There is no materialistic benefits inside Bilad al-Sham. There's no benefits for us to go there. So for how long will they carry on slaying and butchering people before then we begin to intercede or begin to get involved in the problems that exist there?